Hi guys, I'm Mary Poplin, and today we'll be talking a little bit about Mocha 3.1 colored roto shapes. The new 3.1 release for Mocha Pro and Mocha for After Effects adds a new feature for exporting colored roto shapes. In version 3, we added new color spline and fill tools in the layer controls. Now in version 3.1, we can export out rendered colored shapes or export to Nuke rotopaint or After Effects with a Mocha shape plugin. Alright, so let's get started by looking at this file. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and quality control my colored mats. That means I'm just going to play through the file, make sure everything is lining up appropriately, and that my shapes match what I need them to match. So in this case, what I do is I have played through, I'm just going to scrub back, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to expand all my layers, and I'm going to look at my layer order and make sure it is the exact layer order I would like to render as, and I'm going to start cutting everything on and off in groups to make sure that my objects line up with the objects they're supposed to be tracing, okay? I also want to make sure that my colors are the same colors I want to use, and I want to check and make sure all of my shapes are not jittering or jumping or doing anything they're not supposed to be doing. So in this case, the last thing I'm going to check is the skateboard and make sure it's where it's supposed to be, and I'm going to go to File, Export Rendered Shapes. Now in Export Rendered Shapes, I make sure that I tell Mocha to export everything by matte color and to export all visible layers. So what I've done is I've hidden all my tracking layers. Now we're going to save this as a QuickTime movie, and this will bring up a compression/codec dialog. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use JPEG compression and just 24 frames per second because that's what the original file is set at. Let's just go ahead and render that and see what it looks like. Well, it looks exactly like how I wanted it to look. We've got the skateboarder moving through the shot, and none of my shapes are popping or moving, and they're all colored exactly how I told Mocha to color them. So you can use this technology for matte passes that save you space, or you can use it for creative and artistic imagery like you would see in movies like A Scanner Darkly. Alright, that's colored mats, but how do we render out objects with motion blur? Well, in this file, I have isolated the skater out, and I have added motion blur in edge properties. I've just done some light motion blur with a quality of 0.25%. Now we just go to Export Rendered Shapes, we select Grayscale and all visible layers, and we pick a name for our movie. In this case, we're just going to call it something like Matt's Boy Motion Blur. And we hit OK. Now all we do is we set our codec. In this case, I'm using Photo JPEG again, 24 frames per second. I hit OK. And then we just let it render. And you can see that I get some pretty nice motion blurred results very quickly, just right out of Mocha. Alright, so now what if I actually want to take these colored mats and I don't want to render them? I can export their shape data to After Effects just by selecting Mocha's shape data for After Effects and selecting all visible layers. I copy that to the clipboard just like I do any sort of shape effect, and then I move over to Adobe After Effects. I make sure that I am at the beginning of the composition, and I go to Edit, Paste. Control V works fine too. And now, Mocha will paste an effect, several effects actually, onto this layer, and I can basically change them to color composite, and my effects will now be visible over my layer. We can see how that looks pretty easily. Alright, so that's a very easy way to get our shapes into After Effects. Alright, but how do we get these shapes into Nuke? Well, it's kind of the same exact way. We just go to Export Shape Data. We select our Nuke 6.2 roto node. We make sure that we have checked all visible layers on. We go ahead and copy that right to the clipboard. And then it's just as easy as jumping over to Nuke. And once we're in Nuke, we just check our original file right quick, and then we go ahead and hit Control V. And now we have a new roto node pasted right into Nuke very quickly and easily. It's an automated process. You can see how quickly and easily you can get shapes into Nuke or After Effects or render them out on their own. This saves you time without taking up a whole lot of space. As you can see, Mocha is extensively used for roto. These are just some examples of how our users have been using Mocha for roto. We believe our new colored matte export will greatly improve your workflow. We really hope you found this tutorial useful. I am Mary Poplin. This has been Mocha 3.1 Colored Roto Shapes. If you need to get in touch with us, please go to our forums. We also have a Facebook and a Twitter, if you're a tweeter. And if you need to contact us, you can use our Imaginary Systems contact form.